crafty friends, this is Angie Caney and I'm back with my channel Tink's Treasures, and this week I wanted to go and make this adorable tractor easel dies. Now this is out quite a while ago, but I got it on, I think it's on clearance on HSN not that long ago, so this will be a first for me. And what I want to do is actually start out by showing you, like, I just ripped off the dies off the sheet that it comes in and how I'm going to go ahead and store it. So I went ahead and just kind of put the dies in here at the moment just so that I don't lose them because I ripped them off already. But what I do is that I have a giant 3-ring binder, and instead of ordering the magnet sheets, I go ahead and kind of create my own. So I was just going to put this together real quick before I get started. So I usually save my chipboard from whatever project, something I may buy, the back of a 12 by 12 cardstock set, or you know, whatever they come in. And then I usually put a piece of pattern paper over it just to kind of clean it up a little. And then I buy these 4 by 6 magnet sheets from Amazon, and these are the 60 mil ones, so these are nice and sturdy, but you really don't need like the full magnet sheet because you're not going to use it all, so you're going to save some money by doing it this way. So I was just going to put this together real quick on camera for you, and if you want it to be a little more fancy, if you want to call it that, is you could put some pretty pattern paper on here, but I didn't want to waste my pattern paper on that. But I know Anna has her magnet sheets and it has some pretty paper on it. So if you wanted to duplicate it, you could. So I'm just going to go ahead and add that on there. And then these come with sticky already on them. And then I kind of try and just line it up as best. Oops. So before I pull the sticky off there, kind of give myself an idea, or even lay out your dies before you take your sticky off, just to give you an idea where they need to lay out. And then you have your own magnet boards. So I can transfer these. So let me pull out the die set. I just laid them in here so I don't lose track of them. And so I'm going to offset it like this so I have room for all the dies. Actually, this one can, nope, not quite that one. So this one was a little bit more of a tight fit. A lot of times I can just lay them in there and it all fits. But if you need to offset it, the 4 by 6 will still work. So I'm going to go ahead and make up a couple different versions of the tractor die and even share a picture. So before my grandpa passed away, he gave me his old tractor. Now it's not a farm tractor, it's a construction tractor, but we still use it as a farm tractor. So I'm going to use that for some inspiration as a traditional tractor, and then I'm going to make a pretty tractor, and maybe even instead of the easel tractor, I might just make a version with the tractor on the front of a card. So I'm going to pull some of that stuff out and get started on that. Okay, so when I first started the video, I had different vision in mind for using the tractor die since this is new to me. And the creative juices just weren't running. So I took a break, and then later on I found some inspiration. I don't know what set me off, but what I decided to do is that I'm going to mix a couple of these dies of Anna's together and I have something in mind. So I might do this a little bit in segments because I don't have all my papers laid out just yet. But I want to go ahead and take the easel tractor set, and then I want to pair it with, instead of just making a nice easel card, which I will probably do also, but I wanted to put it with the interactive pulley dies so that I have a little bit more substance to work with rather than just the little tractor popping up. So my plan is to use this with the pulley die set and then pair it with the front porch scene dies. So this is our new set that just came out recently. So I don't, each of these has a lot of detail to it in itself, so I'm not quite sure how much detail I'm going to put into each of it, but I'm going to be working with this set too. And then the paper I started pulling out that I think would be really pretty as a background, because I'm going to do a pink tractor, you guys. I mentioned in the beginning that my grandpa gave me a tractor. Now it's still in its original paint, but someday it may be pink just because. And then I'm going to use some of the basket cardstock collection of Anna's, and this is from there. So I'm going to start on this and start putting this together. Okay, so I'm going to start with the pulley layer, and I'm going to be using the main die cut, what would be the shadow layer. So I'm just going to place it down here because you're not going to see so much of this in the back anyway, but you hear when it folds down, if I don't have it completely covered up, you'll see this pretty vase full of flowers. And then what makes this really nice is that it's double-sided, so that you'll have this on the bottom side when it's closed. So theoretically, this should line up in there nicely. And then for this one, what I'm going to try again is that I mentioned it when I was doing the front porch scene as like the Blue Bayou inspiration of how you can use this paper, and then theoretically you can sand the top and it should show a layer underneath. So I'm going to grab this, it's white but it's purple on the other side, so that if you sand it, and I want to try sanding it this time because I mentioned it but then never did it. So I think I can switch back to my small plates. And I just need a piece big enough that's gonna cut out the house scene. Okay, so I don't know where my metal shim is. So I'm gonna pull out my old one, so don't be alarmed. And it's been through a lot. So I'm gonna use it just to see if I can get some extra detail out of this when it cuts. And yeah, you can see how there's extra detail since I used that metal shim in there. Now, ideally you would be using some type of foil so that you can see that more clearly. But I want to see if I can't sand that, and I probably don't have a sanding block on hand. So let me see. I have this old file. I'm just curious if I can get this color to show through. You can just kind of start to see it right there. Okay, so you can see a lot of the detail when you go ahead and sand it off. A sanding block would probably be better, but this was working okay. So I'm going to go ahead and work with this for now. I want to see if I still can't foil out some of this. So I was trying to think if I had any white foil, and I don't. So I'm going to look through and see what I do have. So I have the Spooky Matte foil set. This purple was kind of calling to me, but I also have the Birthday Wishes Luxury. And even though there's no purple in here, I'm going to go ahead and use that and then use this for my tractor because I think it'll still look nice. And had I had this paper in pink, that would have been best, but I work with what I have. So I'm going to fussy cut some of this away, and I'll just go ahead and do that off camera. Okay, so just a quick update. So I have this one fussy cut out, but I want to layer this up just a little. So I cut out the whole center, and I do have the window that I cut out with the die, but I want to mix this up a little. So I'm going to, this works out right, I'm going to cut the roof off this one and put it on the purple one, but I still want the purple, so I'm going to fussy cut out the purple and then relayer that on top of the house. So I'm going to do that, and if I can do it quickly enough, I'll just do it on camera. So that's going to go up here. So let me cut this out. And when Anna came out with this mat, I have to say it was a splurge for me, but I really love that you can just go ahead and cut right on it. It's amazing. Okay, so I'm going to start gluing this together. And this is the glitter art glue. I've worn off the label on it, and I do have a tip for it, but I need to clean it out. But that would be really helpful right now. And then if you wanted, you could put some clear, I want to say acetate behind this, or whatever. What's the translucent paper that you could put behind it just to kind of give it that translucency so that you don't see through 100%. But this is where it's going to live. So I have a couple other cuts to make real quick. I'm going to find some green and some pink for the swing. Some green for the little flowers, hanging flowers. And I should have some leftover paper from the other cards that I recently did. And this is why we keep our scraps, so that we have little pieces to cut out. So this isn't shimmer. I'm not even sure what this is, but it does have like a matte finish to it. So I'm gonna cut this out just to see what it looks like. Okay, so that looks really nice too. You can see the detail in it. But I like the green better, and it'll look better with this paper, this foil green. So I'm gonna save these. And then I'll run this one through. And I have this pink scrap, so I'm going to use it for the little swing. So for this one, I probably only need 2 or 3, and I'm just gonna do it one at a time. But I was talking about how someday we need to have a tool that dispenses these, and someone else said that until then, you could remove, like take a piece of tape and remove, like if you need that whole strip, take a piece of tape and remove all of those at once, and then you're just putting the stickies on, which I thought that was a great idea also. And I probably could have done that here had I been prepared. So that's going to go right here. I need to cut out the little mechanism, and I might cut out 2 just so that it's not behind the window. And then this is the mechanism that goes with the die set so that it will move with the card when you pull on it. So let me find some paper for that. So I have a piece of ivory cardstock here, and I'm just gonna cut a piece that's gonna be big enough. I need 2 pieces out of this, so the one here, one here, one here, and then kind of mark it there. Okay, so you need to fold on your score marks. Now it's been a while since I've done this, and using the front porch scene might be a little tricky because it doesn't have a flat bottom, but you want it to come forward about like that. So I'm going to push the bottom up, and then I'm going to line it up just above the crease and lay it down. I'll do the same over here. Now I want to make sure I get it out of the window. And I think I'm going to, so right there should work. And then I'm going to do a little adhesive right there. And then some wet glue. And there you've got your little base there to attach this. So you're going to see this here, but we can probably put an embellishment right there. So I'm going to put some glue. I'm going to let that sit. And then I can work on the tractor. So here's how it looks from the side. So we'll let that dry. Now I want my pink tractor. So let me find my tractor in my mess over here. And this is going to be sticking out a little, but it'll be okay. So I'm going to line it up at the bottom because I don't need the grass. And then I'll be able to save all that up there too. So you get little flat tires, but that'll be okay because that's how it's going to sit on the card anyway. So I'll use this black. I'm going to cut out my tires. As well as the seat and the little steering wheel. Oh, I'll have to recut that again. Well, no, maybe not. This is the part I need. This could have been done in another color, and ironically, when my grandpa had the tractor, the construction tractor is yellow, and he redid the wheels, and they're in orange in here, but I think I'll keep it black. And I don't know why I cut out 2 sets. I know a tractor has 4 tires, but oh my goodness. Clearly, I only need, and you could use that as a background layer, but I'm not going to do that either. So we have that tire. And this tire, but where's this tire? Oh, here it is. Okay, and then as a bonus, because, you know, I ran it through and didn't cut out the grass, so it made the tires flat, which actually I was okay with that. It would look fine on the card. But when you cut out your tires, now they're round again. Okay, I'm going to let that dry, and then I'll work on the little tab. And you know, I might need 2 of these, I'm not sure. So I'm going to line it up over this existing one. And again, I'm going to push it up. And then I'm going to push the whole thing forward. And then theoretically, that bottom should stick. Like that. Okay, I'm going to let this dry. Just going to put a couple clips in if I can. Okay, so this is an afterthought, but I think I do want to go ahead and add this as a background layer. And I know I have already glued this on, but I think we can do a little surgery here. Or maybe not even surgery. We're just gonna not cut out this bottom part, and then it should slip over the back. And I was debating whether to do more pink, but I'm gonna do gold because there is gold in the paper. So I'm gonna go right up to the edge on this side, just because I saved my paper. And for some reason I was thinking this was gonna get cut out, but it's not. So I'm gonna fussy cut that out. Okay, so we can just layer that in there like that, and it'll just make it look that much prettier. So I'm just going to glue that in. Okay, I think we can bring in our tractor. And then I'm going to go ahead and find some embellishments to start putting in there, and even maybe cut out a couple more dies from the Pulley set to put along here. Maybe another green. I don't know, I really didn't want to cover up that pretty flower down there, so I don't know, we'll see what I find. Okay, so I've been digging through my embellishments and scraps, and here's what I have come up with. So I have the little bucket from the Wishing Well set. I'm going to go ahead and cut this out of gold. This is from the Pulley set, and it's going to go right there, and it's not going to cover up my flowers. And then I have these clouds from the unicorn set, and someone pointed that out to me an earlier video, because I had bought a cloud die set that turned out to be junk in my opinion, and they were like, oh yeah, but there's a set in the unicorn dies, and I didn't even think about it. So thank you to that. And I'm going to cut a few different things out, and then I also have, this is from the garden fountain set, and I know probably this one would look amazing right there, and that goes really well with the background paper. And then, you know, one or two of the shrubs, and I believe I have some smaller butterflies from another set. And then I also need to find a sentiment to put on this. But let me go ahead and start with what I have. So I pulled these scraps out. I don't know how well these scraps are gonna cut, because like this is left over, and I so wish I had the original package to tell you, because it has this coating on the back that makes it difficult to cut intricate on there. So I may have to use my metal shim, and that's, to be perfectly honest, it was because of that paper that ruined my metal shim. This one here, because at some point I was just cutting on the metal shim, and I know that's not what it's designed for, but that was the only way I was cutting through this paper. So we'll see what happens. I mean, see how difficult it is to pop out, but it went ahead and cut it, and you can see the dimension in the paper. So this was a success. I wasn't worried about that one. I just wasn't sure on the colors. And then maybe just to mix them up so that there's some different color. So now I have to decide which of these clouds work best. So let me pull it over. I don't know, I'm gonna wait on this one. Sometimes I hate to waste my use up my embellishments, because I only have so many, and I don't know when I'll be ordering more. But if I put these flowers, oh my goodness, if I put these clouds maybe back here, I don't want to hide all the pretty that's back there, but there's enough from the perspective right here that I think I'll just add these here, and I'll use this little small one down here. Kind of like that. Okay, so I went through a bunch of my embellishments, and this is what I have come up with. So I went ahead and glued that down and that down. Those should stay. So I pulled out from different sets, some gold flourish, and this is from a way older sticker set of Anna's. And I'm just going to trim off this stem right here, and it's going to go right over these gold flourish. So I'm going to glue these together real quick and then put them down. And I swear these are stickers, but I guess I could be wrong. Oh, there we go. And I think this one is from the Flower Garden set. And I have to look and see. I think I have, because I know she made a garden set that is folders cut and embossing folders. I just don't know if I bought that set, but that would be really helpful right about now. So I'm going to lay that in the front, and then just this little butterfly right here giving us the black to tie it in. Just kind of drop him right there. He needs to dry. And then this is going to go right up here. Okay, so here we have it. This is complete. So everything is moving together. And you can see from the side the dimension. I may need to work on making sure it'll stand. There we go. Ooh, that wasn't as hard as I thought it was going to be. So this is it. And then before I go, I was noticing, so I had these left over because these are extra pieces, and I have an idea for extra die storage, or even whatever cuts pieces that you have for your die cuts. So I'm going to look into that and see if I can come up with an easy idea of how to incorporate these with storing your dies. So I'm going to work on that. So I'm going to wrap this up and go ahead and edit the video. So I appreciate you watching if you made it to this point. And if you're new here, I appreciate you watching also. And if you could go ahead and give me a like and a subscribe, that would be great. It would help my channel out. And as always, I like to say, it is free for you to do, but priceless to me. So until next time, happy crafting. Bye.